Good morning, all. Stephen Rowlands here with this morning's, or as promised, the weekly coffee time, where we can talk spiritually. You can ask me questions, and we can just generally have a chat. Um, I don't expect anybody will be on with me today, as most people will be watching about the Queen. I would like to, when the Queen died, I was doing a demonstration of trance healing up in Harrogate Spiritual Healing Church, and we prayed for the Queen's transition, that she may be taken into the light and the eternal love of the Source. We also prayed for love and strength to go to our family. So if we could please keep the Queen and the royal family in our thoughts, I feel that is something that we can do for the royal family, because they do offer themselves up in service to us all. So I think it's good for us as people to give back. If anybody would like to comment, please, I need to know that somebody's there. I can see that there's two viewers. Um, Slightly different change of location. Normally I'm out in the kitchen doing coffee time, but today I'm in the bedroom because my wife wants to watch all about the Queen, so I've been shoved in the bedroom to talk to you all. Okay, there is a question that was asked by the lovely Kirsty Grogan, and she asked the question yesterday. I saw it on Facebook. Whereas, morning, Steph. Lovely to see you here. Yeah, the lovely Kirsty Grogan asked the questions: why are evenings of clairvoyance in centres and churches, centres and pubs and wherever people can hold them, community centres and stuff like that, and spiritualist churches are not getting the people in, and there are a lot of churches failing. I just wondered what your thoughts would be on that. I have my own, which I'll share with you in a bit, but I think we need to move away from the religious aspects of the spiritualist church. I know we had to become a religion to be accepted, and to move ourselves away from the Witchcraft Act, but I just think education is important, and that a lot more people are associating the spiritualist church with Orthodox religion, and I think we need to move away from that. And I think we have to educate people as to why we pray, as to why we have hymns or songs. And let's face it, you get out of spirit communication what you put into it, and a lot of people don't realise that. I'm well, thank you, Steph. Hope you and family are well. I just want to say that you get out of spirit communication what you put into it. Okay, when we break down prayer, it's thought, and spirit communicate to us in thought. So when we're doing the opening prayer, the invocation, we are inviting spirit to join us, and we are invoking spirit in thought to come and join us. Okay, why we sing hymns, I suppose the hymns is an act of faith, everything like that, but a lot of people, morning Tracy, a lot of churches and centres are going on to more popular songs which are full of energy, because we need energy We need a positive energy spirit to come into. Once we've invited them in through the opening prayer, and they can connect to us. Your dad will come in time, Steph. And that's lovely that she communicated through to you. Okay? Yeah, once we've invited spirit in through the opening prayer and connected with them in thought, because that is exactly what prayer is, the songs or the hymns can really raise the energy of the meeting, to allow spirit to work in a loving energy. I find with a lot of places where I demonstrate, people are just sitting with their arms folded, seeing if you're the real thing or not. And that creates a lot of negative energy. Okay. Please send out your loving thoughts to your parents. That will help them to connect with you, Steph. Okay. But energy is important. If we're sitting there in church all negative and wondering whether the medium's really a medium or not, and want to test them out and sitting there all blank faced with your arms folded, that creates a real negative energy. So please, when you go into a church or a centre or a demonstration of mediumship in a pub or a club, or wherever, please go with open heart, and please be as loving and as kind as possible, and leave your troubles outside the door. Okay? This is basically, how I teach mediumship, because, to get a true connection with spirit, you have to leave your troubles outside the door. Okay, you have to be selfless. I'm sure they are together, Steph. I'm sure your parents are together. Okay. But we don't educate people enough, do we? That's why things are moving away into the pubs and the clubs, because people are moving away from the religious aspects of the spiritualist church or centre. But what I will say is, without education we are nothing. If we do not teach that we are spirit evolving through a physical body and a material world, and that we are actually, this is just a point in our eternal life for our evolution, and bring in the teachings of spirit, we're not really teaching nothing, are we? Let me ask you all a question. What do you learn from evidential mediumship, apart from that your loved ones are with you? And you gain any advice from your loved ones, but in actual fact, you don't learn anything. None of us learn anything. Don't get me wrong, it is beautiful giving and receiving messages from loved ones, but we do not learn anything. We do not know the way of universal life, love, natural law, how things work in spirit, how we are connected, how we have this beautiful connection to what we call spirit and to what we call God. Morning, Liz. How are you? All the way from Chichester. I'm just going to have a quick slurp. I'll leave that. I hope you've all got a cup of coffee. It's like, people just want the messages. I've been at churches where they've cut the songs down so that they could get more messages. But what I will say is, please go along to a church or a centre, and if they have an address, and on a Sunday for the divine service, and please listen to the address, because that is the message for all. That is a message from all, from spirit, because the medium should be linking to the spirit guides. Good morning, Patrick. And should be linking to the spirit guides, and should be bringing you the teachings of spirit. The address is the message for all. Yes, of course we're in a better place, Steph, because, they're living in a realm of unconditional love. And it's that unconditional love that you cannot put into words. I've experienced it and I cannot describe it. But we go to the place in spirit that we create. So I'm sure your parents have created a wonderful place, Steph, for themselves. Okay? But I've lost the track of what I was saying now. As I was saying, yeah, the address, I know people just sit there and thinking, oh, I wish you'd shut up, or, and move along to the messages. Yes, everybody loves a message. I love to receive a message. All right, not that I receive that many. But I will say in 44 years of 44 years of spiritualism, I've only received 4 evidential messages from other mediums in all that time. So, but there's people sitting in churches, centres, or wherever, expecting it in every week. I can't work that one out. But it's how we educate. It's how we educate our mediums. A lot of circles now, they just sit there, learning how to pick up and link off. Pick up and link with spirit and give off. They just sit there giving each other messages, which is great. But like I say, that part of spiritual development is about that much of it. And I feel it was more dream state, Steph, or you could have been taken out of your body without linking in. I can't tell you, but I feel it was probably in dream state. Okay, because spirit do communicate through dreams. I've only received 4 evidential messages from other mediums because I don't go looking for messages for myself. You know what I mean? I have free will. I have the power to learn through the love and teachings of spirit, and that's how I do it. But we're not teaching. When we're in circles, we've got this beautiful opportunity to bring spirit guides forward and for them to inspire us and for them to teach us how it all works while we're here, the realms of spirit, the natural law, the universal law. Okay, why certain things happen, the laws of karma, which is very simple and basic, universal law. Okay, and the fact that we're not given anything in this life that we cannot overcome if we can learn to put the teachings of spirit into our spiritual practice. Because I've always felt that it's the more you know, the more you can do. And I think that's very, very true. Morning, Martin. Just learning how to pick up and give off messages from loved ones. You're not really learning anything. You've just learned the basic mechanics of it. But I think we need to know, mediums or whatever you do for spirit, need to know the workings of the universe and how it affects us all. Okay, because we are spirit living through a material body, living through a physical world in a physical body in a material world. Okay, so I just think it's a lack of education which is sort of like turning people away from churches and centres. And even one centre, they didn't even want me to do an opening prayer. I had a bit of an argument. That's right, Liz. The more you learn, the more you want to know. That's right, but people are just happy. Now mediums are moving into, they want to be demonstrating in theatres and pubs and wherever, because they've learned how to link in and give off. There's a lot of mediums that don't know how to give an address, to link to spirit, to give an address. You're welcome, Steph. Have a lovely Sunday. It's amazing the amount of people that I know that cannot give an address, that cannot give link to spirit to give an address. But it's that same link that spirit use to give messages. So why can't we use that same link to give an inspired address? That's just my own thoughts. But I began in a spiritualist church, and I love serving spirit in spiritualist churches. There's a lot more heart in it when you make a true connection with a loved one or a spirit guide or an angel in spirit, and you connect that person who's receiving the message to spirit or an angel or a spirit guide. Okay, I don't know what your thoughts are. Why do you think people are moving away from the spiritualist churches? I just think we need to be explaining a lot more about what we do and why we do it. You know, I mean, surely, you know, prayer is one form of communication, and it's probably the most common form of communication. And if you think about it, it came to me the other day when I was doing a service, you know, when I'm demonstrating giving the address and demonstrating mediumship, it is a work in prayer. It is sort of like a waking prayer, because you're communicating with spirit and giving off what you get. Well, what's Martin got to say? I agree, Martin. Yeah, you get them, Liz. I mean, my sense of humour, when I first started demonstrating mediumship, yeah, my sense of humour just come out, you know. But you know, our first when we're demonstrating to people, our first and foremost must be whatever spirit want to say. The jokes just come in along with it. You know what I mean? They just come in as part of it. But I want to say it is most important that we get whatever message spirit is giving at the time, that we get it across. That is the most important thing. And may I say this, you know, there's sort of like people who wish to become mediums overnight and all the rest of it. I've been demonstrating medium for 39 years, and I'm still learning how to do it. You know, as Martin says, people are these days just learning the basics and not walking the walk and talking the talk. The more you know, folks, the more you can give. Okay? That's right. Meditation isn't only a tool for connecting with spirit, it's also, meditation can be used so we have a greater understanding of ourselves and how to clear our emotional and life blocks. You know, because each and every one of us, whether we're aware of it or not, are in a state of spiritual development on a minute by minute, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year basis. You know, it isn't just those who sit in circle, it's all of us. Oh, Liz, Liz, if that counselling was helping people, then great stuff, you know. Um, I was always taught evidence should be given just so that the recipient of the message knows who's talking to them. That's as far as it goes with me. I mean, how much evidence do people need? Usually in spiritualist churches, it's the same people week in, week out. They're getting evidence week in, week out. Um, for those people, they need to move on from that by just wanting evidence all the time. You've had your evidence, now the journey of discovery starts. That's my way of thinking. I know a lot of people won't agree with me with that, but that's my way of thinking. Okay? That's probably why I've only ever had 4 evidential messages for myself in 44 years. I got my evidence way back in 1978. I've never asked for it again. So what do you all think of that then? Alright? We've got 5 viewers and it's only me talking. And it also depends, Liz, it also depends on your link with Spirit. What you're seeking, what you're asking from that communication. Morning, Trudy. I agree, Martin, it's just a start point. It's like whoever's communicating from Spirit are introducing themselves. After that, then the message can come in. Especially with the SNU and a lot of other places, they just want you to be giving evidence all the time. But surely, if your loved one knows you're going through a bit of a difficult time, they want to advise you. Yeah, Patrick, I agree. Have we become that needy in our mortality that we need evidence all the time? I just find it ridiculous. Wow, 3 hour long meditation? I would suggest 10 minutes because you get enough in 10 minutes. You don't need to sit for 3 hours. Hang on, I've heard that word many times, paradigm. I'm gonna see what Google says. Hang on, Liz. Hang on. Right, a paradigm is a typical example or pattern of something, a pattern or a model. So there you go. Yeah, I believe years ago when we started out, Martin, that we were taught a set of standards with Spirit. All that seems to have gone by the way now. Yeah, you could have a point there. But, that they get the evidence weekly and then they wonder why their lives are amiss. Yeah, paradigm is a template, as Martin says, a set of standards. But I think, meditating for 3 hours is absolutely ridiculous. I know the person that's running that meditation will disagree with me, but I think it's ridiculous. All right, 10 minutes enough. You get enough symbolism in 10 minutes to last you. Yeah, we're not fortune tellers. I mean, my guides do give me stuff that could happen in the future, but I always tell people, I'd fall asleep after about 15-20 minutes, Patrick. I'm the same as you. But I get that. Yeah, especially on these lives. When will I meet my true love and will I sell my house and all this? I don't know. If you want to sell your house, you know, sell your house. If you want to meet the love of your life, go on a dating website. You know what I mean? I met my wife through Match.com, so if it can work for me, I can't see why it can't work for anybody else. You know, but you know, the future is of our making. We all have free will. Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes. I usually give my students about 12, 13, but I tell them it's 10. Alright. I always give my students time to sort of like leave their worries and their woes outside the door before we start. Okay. Alright, so that they can be open to receive whatever spirit needs to teach them through that meditation. Oh, I'm drying up here. But as I've been saying, yeah, I agree with that, Trudy. But I think that giving evidence all the time stops that love and advice um, coming through from your loved ones. Okay, just use evidence purely for recognition, nothing more. Okay, and allow whoever's communicating from spirit, whether it be grandma, mum, dad, sister, brother, friend, whatever, to get their loving message through. All right. By constantly giving evidence all the time, that just cuts all that out. The lovely Janet Bramhall and the lovely Claire Sutton is with us. Lovely to see you here, ladies. Yeah, I think truly, if we can give off the evidence, not the evidence, the essence of the communicator and information that we wouldn't know, which is difficult because we all lead very similar lives, and allow the love and advice to come through from our loved ones. But let's also allow it from spirit guides and angels. Okay, I've had many a disagreement with people that says our messages from guides are not evidential. Of course they are, because they're telling you exactly what's going on in your life. So, what I want to say is, what I ask my guides to do is, tell people about what they're thinking and what they're feeling and all the rest of it. But give me something that they've done in the week to prove that they are there with them and they can see what's going on. Yeah, life is all about choice, Trudy. All right, spirit come along not only to connect with us, and say hi and give any advice, but they come to help us with our lives and help us to make proper informed choices in life. You know, this is where we're falling down as spiritualist church, spiritual movement, or whatever we want to call it. Okay. Yeah, you can prove the guide is with them, but it's like Thursday when I was doing the trance healing, um, because one of my guides is Red Cloud, everybody thinks it's the Red Cloud. You know, and there's a lot of history written about him. Okay, one of my doorkeepers is John Constable. His life is documented. You know, but John Constable really, well, has never given a message through me, I don't think. Okay. I'm beautiful too. How's that? We're all beautiful. Alright. Um, we can prove, Martin, we can prove that that guide is there with them at that time. Okay. And yeah, you know, millions of people have gone into spirit. Millions and millions and millions of people, you know. Um, and we can't prove that our work, some of them are working as spirit guides, but we can't, you know, are people willing to do the research? I mean, my Red Cloud has come through in trance and said where he lived and what he did in life, you know, but which can be researched to a certain degree. Yeah, that's his way, Claire. That's a beautiful way of telling you what that person needs. That's lovely. I like that. Einstein's probably helping you with your trance, Janet. Because with trance and physical mediumship, you know, there are spirit scientists, chemists, and all the rest of it. You know, that are helping things to come through, are working with energy and with the physical energy of the medium to help bring things through. Yeah, yeah. Martin, the SNU seems to be sort of like, I don't know, a bit behind the times from the rest of us. You know what I mean? Um, I think, well, what I've been going around the churches just recently is saying by proving life after death, we're forgetting about life. You know, we're forgetting about eternal life. There you go. We've all got famous people somewhere. Louis Pasteur, I remember reading about him at school. Wasn't he the he discovered penicillin? I may be wrong. You know what I mean? But what a great thing to bring to the world. My other doorkeeper who works through me in healing, he's also a Zulu warrior. Okay? And his name is Zangu. Now what I done was once, quite a few years ago, I typed his name into Google, and Zangu is a Christian mission centre in Zululand. That could have drawn him to you, Patrick. It could have been him guiding you into that career. Who knows? I mean, it's like with John Constable, you know. I think that I love art. You know, I love looking at it. I can't do it, but I love looking at it. I've just found the easier route by taking pictures. and putting my words on them. Oh, the lovely Nina Alder's with us. Hiya, Nina. Well, looking forward probably means, Patrick, that they're going to be walking with you and working with you. Okay? Because the way my guides let me know things are coming up or whatever is they always look forward, or it means they're walking beside you. Stuff like that. Right, okay. My screen just went blank there. But it's good that we're sitting here talking about guides at the moment. And if you really think about it, we could see why our guides are with us and what role they play. Martin, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, and this gets back to my basic point. The more you know, the more you can do. You know. Yeah, Spirit will always communicate with you in a way that you will understand, truly. This is what I find. And, you know, at times, you know, with especially the address, they will pick out words that you use so that to give to you, or memories or whatever, okay, so that you will understand, to help that communication take place, if that makes sense, truly. It's well known that Spirit use our own experience. All I will say is it's truly, Spirit don't waste energy, so that if they can use something from your experiences or things that you understand, it saves a lot of energy. Yeah, and the message or the healing can come through that much easier. But I think it's very important, I will always promote this, for anybody who's walking a path of spiritual service, is to have a good relationship with your guides. You know what I mean? I'll never forget once somebody said to me, why are you bothering about guides? We've all got guides. And I said, yes, we've all got grandparents. We've all got mums and dads. We've all got sisters and brothers. So why are we counting out? So why are we, you know, like putting spirit guides into the background? You know, what I find lovely is when I'm demonstrating mediumship, is when a guide communicates with somebody that's sitting for spiritual development. So it all has its place, you know what I mean? And I've forgotten what I was going to say, which is good. You guys carry on talking. I'm going to have a slurp of coffee. This is coffee time, folks, so I'm hoping you've all got coffee. I mean, a lot of people think they can develop mediumship in a few weeks or a few months. Like I said, I've been doing it 39 years and I'm still learning, because I know Spirit will want to teach me more. They will want to be able to channel more stuff through me. Water, coffee, it's all good. Yeah, this is what I was trying to explain at the healing, Janet, that they got into the heads it would just be red cloud coming through, but what I told them was the guides will change as to what kind of healing's needed, you know. I've always thought of our doorkeepers as being our life guides. Um, Janet. But yeah, guides will change. I often say to people, you know, when one medium's working, there's those that are bringing loved ones through. There are those standing in protection. There are those bringing energy forward. There are those bringing teaching forward. So, whilst one medium is working, you know, the spirit guides, it can be a cast of thousands if you think about it. I must say I made myself a nice cup of coffee this morning. Alright. And I'm really glad I do this on a Sunday, because, you know, we have some good conversations that will hopefully be watched by others and help to enlighten others a little bit. These conversations I do put them on YouTube. I've got to do some more writing, actually. I'm on page 14. I know that ain't a lot, but I've written 6,000 words, which is a lot for me. But I've got up to the point of where I'm just about to leave my last job, but I'm also going to write about my experiences with spirit, from that, how to cope with stress, or how I coped with stress, you know. Yeah, that's a very good point, Patrick. I mean, years and years ago, there was a spirit guide called Lee that come through the medium's husband. He used to speak for him in trance. And he'd pop up in my meditations, you know. But anyway, quite a few years ago now, I was doing a meditation and Lee appeared in it, and he said to me, "Haven't you realised I was your guide all along? I was just using Ian, you know, as a way of teaching you," and the circle, obviously. But yes, our guides do change. My guides can work with your guides, and your guides can work with my guides. We don't have ownership over guides. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Nina. It's an unfolding process, and you know, life experiences teach us a lot. If we can be on the back foot and think, what is this teaching us? And it is a time of reflection. Okay, and I personally have learned a lot through reflection, because it allows my guides to link with me. That's true. That's true, Patrick. Okay, but as spirit guides, like I say, we don't own them. They work with everybody else, but they are with us for a purpose. And that's a very good point, Patrick. it's spirit that choose to work through us. And I'm often saying, about we mediums, we're nothing without spirit. If they decided to shut up, what we wouldn't be any good, would we? You know what I mean? It's because spirit love to communicate. Spirit guides bring forward the truths of universal life, eternal life. Our loved ones like to help us through our struggles, everything like that. And evidence has its place to open somebody's mind, to teach them that there is more to life. That's lovely, Martin. That's true. That's very true, Patrick. So we must always stay humble in our service, Patrick. You know what I mean? When I say my guides, what I should really be saying, they're my guide at the time. You know. Yeah, self-doubt is a learning experience, Liz. I've had it quite a few times over my life, but yeah, spirit will test how much you trust. So I was saying to somebody the other day, I don't know what's going to be said or done when I step out onto the platform. You just have to go with it. See, this is what I'm trying to teach students, is to remove the self. If you're worried about falling flat on your face in front of 10 people or 30 people, however many's there, you're putting yourself before spirit. You must be selfless. Yeah, once you've worked out why that doubt is there, and you found closure with it, because there is lessons in that doubt, Liz. And spirit are teaching you probably something you need to know through that doubt. Okay? But what I will say to you, Liz, is whatever you're doing spiritually, seek to be selfless while you're doing it. That's right. Yeah. If you're worried about falling flat on your face or not giving a great service that you did like last week, then you're putting your own vanity into play, and that's when it's wrong. I'm glad you understand that, Liz. Because I always use this copy time along with Martin and Patrick and the lovely Janet and Claire. I'll use this as a way of teaching through conversation. Yeah, I know there are not many of us. We've got 8 at the moment, people here. But if you can reach out to one person and help lighten their path a little bit, then you've done something. It just seems to me these days that mediums are more concerned with bumps on seats than anything. We are good enough for spirit practice, Patrick, because they choose to work with us. And I agree, it's always got to be from the heart. We must be selfless to become a clear vessel for the spirit. That's something we used to talk about a lot years ago. And I think, the more we can the more the more selfless and the clearer channel we are for spirit, the more we can give. And yes, Patrick, I've led a very colourful life. And spirit still choose me to work through me, and I'm honoured by that they still want to work through me. Okay, so don't Liz, don't kick yourself beat yourself up because this went wrong and that went wrong. You know, selflessness is the way forward, and always give through the heart, and you'll be fine. Yeah, we do doubt, but that's just Patrick. Even though we know we still doubt, but that's just our own nerves coming into play. Okay, but remove them nerves. Be as clear. Be as clear a vessel for spirit as you possibly can. That, Janet, that leads me to the point: many are called, but few are chosen. It's from the parable of Jesus, which is in Matthew, I believe. Pardon me. Where you had to come dressed in the right clothes for this one king's party that he was having. And I think it's the same with Spirit. Spirit will teach. Many are called but few are chosen. We have to come dressed in the right clothes. In other words, we have to be selfless. We have to be loving. We have to want to give. We have to want to be of service. Those are the right clothes for us to wear. Okay. Yeah, Simon, we had a lovely York is absolutely beautiful. I'm so blessed that we went there, and I'm totally recharged up now, so watch out people, I'm charged up. So here we go, Yeah, just if you have a question to ask me, Patrick, please ask away when you feel ready to ask it. Yeah, private message me, Simon, because you wanted to talk to me. Private message me when you're ready. I'm free for the rest of the day. After this, obviously. What was it? The famous medium, was it Alpha Best? He said it's about time we put the spirit back into spiritualism, and I agree with that. We can have a chat. We can have a video messenger chat if you want, Simon. That'll be cool. We're all well, mate. But I've forgotten what I was going to say now. I'm 62 now, so I forget things. But yeah, I think it's about time we put the spirit back into spiritualism. And I think we can do that through education. It's not all razzmatazz and having your name up in lights and putting bumps on seats and earning money out of it and all the rest of it. It's about being of service to spirit and how it all works, and educating about spirit communication. I feel it's quite sad today. I serve some quite long-standing churches, and I have to tell people you get out of spirit communication what you put in. Don't worry, it gets work, Patrick. It gets work, Patrick. I hope you remember to turn up with me on the 24th, because me and Patrick are doing another spiritual healing via Zoom, raising money for the MS Society. Also, earlier in that day, on the 24th, I'll be doing a trance healing clinic. So I'll have 5 appointments left. So if people want some trance healing and would like to make a free will donation to the MS Society, please come along and have some healing. Okay? It is a free will donation, so you don't have to donate, but if you want some healing, please do so. Please come along. It's 24th of September. I agree with that, because when I first went into a spiritualist church, I was 17, nearly 18 years old, And if it weren't for people helping me understand what was going on with me, um, I believe that it sort of like saved my life in a lot of ways, because I really thought I was going mad at the time. But yes, we should cater for the young, and make it more understandable to the young, and point the way for the young. Because obviously, um, it is a way of life. It's very much a way of life. It's a way of universal life. Let's take it into a bigger context, Nina. We are living our eternal life now. It's just that we're living it in a physical body in a material world. I've been opening up addresses just recently, Nina, by saying I don't believe in life after death. I know all life is eternal. And the belief is following, and but knowing is connection. So let's work on more of what we know than what we believe. That's what I think anyway. That's all right. That's their stage of understanding, Patrick. Spirit will always teach us to have compassion for those that are not of the same level of understanding as we are. You know, even my wife calls me a weirdo, Patrick. You know, because like, as I said, me and the wife we met on Match.com, and she's talking about the different blokes on there that just wanted sex and all the rest of it, and there's a lot of weirdos on there. And I said, well, you met the weirdest one of the lot, didn't you? But yeah. But you see, that's right. That's right, Martin. It is the spirit teaching that all knowledge should be shared. That's another reason I do these things, like copy time, and that's why I love to give an address from spirit and stuff like that. That's right. I agree with you, Jack. We should be sharing it whenever we get the opportunity. But let's make the space for it. This is what I'm saying. Yes, let's have our mediumship nights where we bring loved ones through so that they can connect with their loved ones on Earth. Um, but let's have nights where we just, like discussion groups or something, where we sit and we talk about spirit. Or we could have a medium there connecting with their guides to ask questions and the rest of it. I'm doing a trance session. Me and my spirit team are doing a trance session for Sparkles of Light, I believe they're called. And she said to me, we want you to bring loved ones through. And I said, well, we don't bring loved ones through, we bring guides through. And they give a talk and people can ask questions. But anyway, she's accepted that, and that's what we're going to do. All right, I did say to her, well, you better not book me, because there are plenty of trance mediums that bring loved ones through. But this is why I'll do like trance sessions when I can, so that my guides can come and speak through me, and people can question them and ask questions. But I have noticed, like when I'm doing that, there might be sort of like 10, 15 people, and when I'm giving messages, it's 30 odd. I think education is really, really important right now. But we've got to let people know that prayer isn't something that's religious and something that they learned down the road at Sunday school or in church when they were kids. Prayer is actual connection, because we connect to spirit and spirit connect to us in thought. That's right, yeah. I was discussing this with the lovely Stacey Spark about the labels we give. Um, but we're human, we have to identify things, don't we? We have to put labels on things. Some people call it spiritualism. I call it spirituality. You know, spirituality to me is your life learning. You know, and your and in your spiritual practice, which dictates your way of life. I mean, as we mourn the Queen right now, she dedicated her life to service. And I think she's a good example to all of us who say we serve Spirit, is to dedicate ourselves to a life of service. Because that's what Spirit want from us. They want us to have that dedication and commitment to a life of service. And Spirit wish to serve and uplift people through us, and I think that is such a beautiful thing. And as I keep telling people, you know, by allowing Spirit to use us in service, it's an act of love to Spirit, but it's also an act of love to the person receiving the message or the healing. It's all about love, folks. Anyway, it's just gone past the hour. If anybody's got anything else to say, that would be great. If not, I will be signing off. Yeah, I don't know about Janet. I agree. I always bring angels and guides through. Um, Sometimes the churches get disgruntled and we'll never book you again, but that's only ever happened to once. Um, what's Nina saying? That's right, there are times we must step out of the way. Hello Sarah Jane, hope you're well. Sarah Jane's just joined us. Yeah, I've run 4 development circles in my time and I'm about to run another one online. I'm not sure how that's going to absolutely work, but when somebody says to me I never thought of it that way, or they get a strong connection with Spirit and they are working in harmony with the rest of the circle, that warms my heart. That really, really does. Okay, but a lot. What I found is a lot. You get it with some people today. I've had to learn this one myself. You know, you can get like an image or a feeling or a sense that is too hard to believe, but you have to give it off. And when somebody in circle gives off something that they think it's their own imagination, but it turns out to be bang on. I love that. Even myself, when I've been demonstrating, I've sort of held things back, and in the end, I've had to learn to give them up. Those things that we find difficult to believe seem to be the most powerful. Thank you. My mind is open to learn more, Liz. See, this is what we should be doing. I'm only telling you what I already know, but my mind is open to learn more. That's right, we are sowing the seeds. You know, I was saying to a couple of people the other day, um, somebody might come and thank you for something that you said 10 years ago or 30 years ago, or something that you did for them 10, 20, 30 years ago. So we are serving the seeds, but that service always be with love and selflessness. And I agree totally, Martin. All right, people, I'm going to say goodbye now. All right, we've had a lovely chat this morning, as always. I will be doing another one next Sunday. I've got I've got a busy week ahead of me with Spirit. Oh, and Claire, if you're still here, I will let Woking know that it will be just me doing the service. Um, oh, that transfer the Sparkle of Light is next Saturday. I'm down in Weymouth next Sunday, and I'm doing a demonstration and mediumship on the 15th. I've got a couple of readings to do, so yeah, going to be a busy week. So my learning is to recharge. All right, okay. I want to say to all of you, have a blessed week. May you be guided by Spirit always, but may you put that guidance into your spiritual practice. God bless you all. Thank you for joining me. See you next Sunday.